Hi guys, I'm EVM and welcome back to what is yet another rant. Only this one for me is one that needs sorting out. It's one that I've just had enough of and I thought I'm just going to have to vent my frustrations out on camera because I've had enough now. I've been driving electric vehicles for 5.5 years-ish and it's not got any better. And after a recent experience, which I'll tell you about in a minute, it's just doing my head in. The problems that they have, that some charge networks, not all, I should make that clear, this is about some, the problems they have are so easily fixed. A little dose of common sense. So if it does go wrong, if you come to a point and it's not working or there's just a problem with your account or something, it's just crap. It really is just crap. Now, before I tell you this specific example, I want to make a few things clear. One, I could have used one of dozens of examples over the last 5 and a bit years about crap customer service, but I thought, no, I'll use the most recent one because then it's current, it's still valid, if you like, is the complaint. Now, I'm not going to mention any specific charge network by name on this one. It probably won't be difficult if you follow me on Twitter to know who I'm talking about on this specific example, but I don't want this to be bashing a specific network or two. I just want this to be a statement about customer service and charge networks. Right, so this specific example, it's effectively a 7 or 8 day holiday and we did about 1,400 miles around the UK and we had to use the public charging network. To access this charger, you basically put an RFID card on the card reader like so, blip, and pick CCS or Chadder when it starts charging, all's good. I'm using this as a prop. This is a Polar RFID card. It's the only one I could find for this video. I'm not talking about Polar, this is, like I said, it's just a prop. So anyway, got to the charger, slapped this on the side, and everything worked perfectly. No problems whatsoever. And I'm thinking, great stuff. I think we're in for a good charging experience. So anyway, later on that night, we got to another charger. It said, unauthorized user. I got my phone, I sent my wife and daughter to go get the food, and sat on hold for 35 minutes. Until somebody finally picked the phone up. 35 minutes listening to somebody say, your call is important to us. Please hold whilst we... Clearly it's not important, otherwise you'd have answered the damn phone. Anyway, I explained what happened to him and he said, oh, well, let me check your account. So he put all the stuff into the computer. Said, oh, you've been blacklisted. Blacklisted? What have I done? I mean, the card worked. This afternoon, it was fine. I used it. What's going on? This is a free charger as well. And he went, oh, well, you've been blacklisted because you owe us money. Basically, what had happened is about 4 or 5 months, something like that, earlier, we did a trip for this channel. We racked up about £20 worth of charges on this. And he said, oh, well, it appears that there's no direct debit set up on your account, even though I'd had this account for I don't know, 2 or 3 years, it had gone off basically. There was no payment method and therefore they'd stopped the account. Hang on, I know, this might be my fault. My debit cards were replaced about 3 or 4 months ago. Do you know when they expire after 3 years and you get new ones? That's the only thing I can think of. I've clearly not updated my account. I never got an email to say it was expiring like I did everywhere else, but okay, I'll hold my hands up on that one. It's clearly my fault. But don't worry, I have my wallet right here. Let me clear that balance now and let's get up and running because I need this charge network to work. I'll be driving around for the next week. I need it to work. We can't take payment over the phone, I'm afraid. We can't do anything over the phone. You're going to have to go on our website and fill in the payment details there and do it there. And then I can release the card for you. I've got my phone. I'll do it online right now. No, you don't do it on your phone because the web page doesn't format properly for a mobile device, so you won't really it'd be very difficult to do it on the phone. But he says, don't worry, I'll start the charge remotely for you and then you can sort it out later. It was a free charge, so there's no issues there. Fair enough, no problems at all. Got the free charge, and when I got back with our takeaway, thankfully, I got my laptop out and filled in the contact information. In fact, I have an email right here, basically giving me an okay saying, well done, you've updated your payment details. Brilliant. Whilst I was on the phone to him though, I did kind of say, well, if I've owned any company, you know, any money, let alone just 20 odd pounds, they've rung me up or emailed me to say, you owe us money. Why in the last 3 or 4 months have I not had anything to say, you owe us money, pay us? Basically what they've done is blacklisted my card to make sure I couldn't charge, and therefore I would be forced into ringing them. He said it could take 24 hours for this card to be reactivated, so if you're going to use it within that period, you might have to ring us back again. So ring us before you get to the charger. Even he knew that it was probably going to take a while to get through on the phone, to the point where he told me to ring up before I got to the charger. I rung up 15 minutes before we were due to get to the charger, just so they could check my account and reactivate the card if necessary, just to make sure everything's fine. 20 minutes after arriving at that charger, so 35 minutes later, they answered the phone again. 35 minutes of listening to someone. I'm afraid due to high call volumes, we can't answer your call as quickly as we'd like. No. Due to lack of staffing levels, you can't answer my call. It's like this all the time, for crying out loud. This isn't unexpected demand. This is constant low staffing. Anyway, finally got through to someone, explained the situation again, because of course you don't get through to the same person, do you? And he went, well, I can see you did this last night, blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure what's going on. He said, well, don't worry, I'll start your free charge again, which he did, that was good. And then I will get my supervisor to unlock your card for the next week. So for the next 7 days, you won't be blacklisted, basically, even if we haven't got this accounting thing sorted out. Again, it might take 24 hours for this thing to come back online, but we should be good now. We should be good to go. Fast forward a few days. In fact, rather than explain what happened, let me put this clip up of us outside the charger as it happened there and then. 45 minutes, I think. We're on hold for the third time this week before they answered. And when they answer, it's fine. It gets done fairly quickly, but
it's a ridiculous amount of time. I don't know.
All because of an accounting screw up as well. It's not even a difficult thing, which you can't solve over the phone. You have to do it online.
Yeah, but last time when you spoke to somebody, they were going to speak to their supervisor and get it sorted within 24 hours. So you've got a different story now.
Yeah. And we're having to have our tea in the Tesla. We're having Chinese Tesla tea. So
and we have to be careful of the upholstery, because I'm already seeing little streaky marks, and Andy will...
What?
Andy will be getting mad.
Where?
Only tiny there. I've just got tissue that I've tried to... That has been our downfall, sitting, waiting on hold for these people when we want to go and do something else.
It's taken longer to get through to them and sort it out on the phone. 59 minutes. It's taken longer to do that than the charge itself.
Because it's not encouraging people to get an electric vehicle.
And then you get the marketing people for these charge networks saying there's just a perceived lack of charging networks. You get round it, don't you? We're having tea, it's a bit of an adventure. But if our accommodation wasn't so accommodating,
yeah, exactly,
we'd be basically homeless tonight because someone can't answer the phone. It's like, oh God. So not only did we have to eat a takeaway in the car rather than, in the restaurant that we were going to whilst it was charging, but we couldn't get to the accommodation on time because it was literally about an hour and 15 minutes from arriving at the charger before the car even started charging. And we're talking about during the week now. I think one of them was in the evening, but the rest was during the week, during the daytime, normal office hours. It's not like I'm ringing on a Sunday night. Next morning, lots of miles later, got to the next charger. Can you guess what happened when I put the card on the side? Even though it had been over 24 hours since I put the card details on the website again. Yep, unauthorised user. So I rung them up again. This one wasn't too bad though. It only took them 25 minutes to answer the phone. That's pretty good. When you start thinking 25 is good, you realise how much you've got used to crap service. Thankfully though, this person seemed to know what they're doing. She got updated on the situation quickly. She said, right, well, I can see this, blah, 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 diddle-do. Try it now, meaning try the card now, not let me start a free charge for you. So I tried it, and lo and behold, it worked perfectly. Now I can charge using this without having to ring you up. Yes, that's correct, sir. Brilliant. That's awesome, is that I can now charge even though we've got to the end of a holiday and this is the last charge we'll need to use. So to sum up, we spent the entire holiday ringing people up and them not answering the phone. The problem was an accounting one, not with the chargers. The chargers all worked, but I don't know. So it's all down to communication, isn't it? They wouldn't answer the phone. They didn't communicate to me that my card was going to expire. They didn't communicate to me for 3 or 4 months that I owed them money. I rang up about I think it was 4 different charge networks, the problematic ones. And the average answering time during office hours during the week was 24 minutes. 24 minutes! If your broadband doesn't work, it's an inconvenience, an annoyance. You have to use your phone instead, but at least you can still get online. It's not crucial. However, if you're stuck at a charger and you can't fuel your car because someone can't be bothered to answer the phone, that's a bit different, isn't it? That is something that needs sorting out. Let me tell you another brief story about that same charge network. Is that there was a central problem with their, I think, servers, their backbone, and that meant that most, if not all, I don't know if it was all, but most of their charging network was down because their server wasn't working. A single point of failure? That's a good idea with something that's as crucial as fueling people's vehicles. And for a day or 2 days, I think it was, 1 or 2 days, nobody could charge, not because there was a problem with the charger, a server was off. Nobody could charge. I mean, who designs a network with that sort of complete lack of redundancy? It sums up what I'm talking about. It's not the technology, it's the way it's being run. Other networks don't have this problem. Why isn't somebody up at the top, the bosses, if you like, going, that's not a good idea, is it? Yeah, I'm not technical, but is that a good idea? If that goes off, the whole network comes down. We lose all revenue stream because somebody's doing Windows updates. I will mention a specific network now, but for good reasons, sort of. The Electric Highway, who are notorious for being the worst network in the UK by all major surveys that have ever been done. But the one thing they do correctly is that if that charger loses communication with their back office, that charger switches over to free vend. So at least whoever pulls up can still charge, they can still get home, they can carry on their journey. So it's really, it's their incentive to keep it working, because the more it works, the more money they get. But if it doesn't, people can still charge. That's a very good thing. Clearly this other charge network have never heard of that. I bet you what, if that same server goes offline now, they'll all go down. They won't flick to free vend. We're not giving them free electricity because we've screwed up. No, let them be stranded. That does highlight another issue, which I always find very, very confusing, specifically with the Electric Highway. I know I said I wouldn't mention specific names, but it does relate to this free vend thing. This has been going on years. I mean, literally years with the Electric Highway. In the 4 and a bit years I was driving the Nissan Leaf, I went down to my mum and dad's a lot. And the first stop was always Grantham Services. The charger on the right hand side, and it's still the same now it seems, even though I'd have to use it, was always on free vend. And ask lots of people on Twitter or YouTube or wherever, a lot of chargers for the Electric Highway are almost always on free vend, which is good for the consumer. They can still charge and they can get a free charge. But why on earth, and this is the perplexing thing for me, why on earth is the boss, I don't know if it is Dale Vince of the Electric Highway, but why aren't they ringing up, screaming at the engineering department, the technical department, saying, fix this problem. It's been going on years. What company doesn't charge their customers for the product or service they provide? It does not exist. Can you imagine walking into Asda and they're going, well, that till's not working, so you can just take the food with you. It's been doing that for 2 or 3 years. We're just not bothered. Especially as all the time they're complaining that the Electric Highway doesn't make money. It hemorrhages money. Well, no, Sherlock. You're not charging half your customers. And then we get to the reliability of the damn things. This is across all networks now, by the way. Well, most. I asked on Twitter, can people give me a few examples of chargers being down for a long time? Because things fail. I was inundated with responses. I only expected a few, but it was just list after list. And links to ZapMap and various other places of chargers that effectively have been down for months. Some of them years. I mean, one of them said, oh, these 2 chargers were put in and they've never been commissioned. And they were put in over 2 years ago. Physical, thousands, tens of thousands of pounds worth of chargers installed, still not working 2 and a bit years down the line. And then there are other chargers, some of which I wanted to visit but ultimately couldn't on our long journey, that have been down according to the comment section in various apps for a minimum of 9 to 10 months. 9 to 10 months and it's still not working. Now, There is a slight issue with that. It's not all the charge network's fault, but then for me it is, because they'll say, well, we just administer the network. It's not our responsibility. We don't own the chargers, we're just running it. So what will happen, something like this will be, that charger stops working, it will cost this much money to fix it, and the owner of the charger just says no, or I can't afford it yet. Like a council, for example. We can't afford to fix the charger, so it's just going to be offline for a while. Or the other one is, well, the maintenance company that look after it say it's a warranty problem, and the warranty company say it's a maintenance problem, and then they're just batting it between them. And the only person that loses out is, of course, the customer again. I rung up about one of these chargers before we left on this journey because it'd been down for many months. I thought, well, it would be really handy to stop there. They said, well, let me check for you. I can see that charger. Yes, it's been offline for a while. Right, the last update was 3 months ago. Let me see if I can get you another update on that. And I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. The last update was 3 months ago? If you're responsible for that network, if customers are complaining to you that that doesn't work on a frequent basis, why aren't you ringing up the council or whoever owns it every other day, every week even, saying, have you got an update? Have you got an update? Have you got an update? 3 months. You're just basically waiting on a council or an owner to reply. That's not chasing it up at all, is it? Well, let's face it, a lot of them go, we have, I don't know, I'm just making this number up, we have 500 chargers around the UK, all rapid chargers. Well, these haven't worked for ages. Oh, well, that's not our problem because we're not responsible for fixing them. We just administer it. But you're happy to advertise it as part of your, we look after all the, this is how good our network is. But when it goes wrong, well, it's a tidy arrangement, isn't it? Take them off your network, as in remove it from the website completely. If it's been down for 9 months and there's no end in sight, why are you still including that in your we have so many chargers literature? You can't have it both ways. Or even just put it on the website. We are waiting the council to approve this. There's no communication again. We don't know why it's been down for so long. All we know is that it's not worked for ages and it's part of this particular charge network. So it just makes that charge network look bad. Again, if I was the head of that charge network, I'd be screaming to these other people saying, either you fix this or we're going to have to remove it from our website. And another thing, how is it difficult to know if a charger's not working? There is literally pages on some of these charge networks websites that say, if you spot a down charger, fill in this form. Or you could check it yourself and make sure it's working. Again, not difficult. We look after nearly 100 separate networks, the company I work for. We know within minutes if there's a problem with one of them. If you see a charger has, well, that's usually used about half a dozen times a day, is that charger, but for the last week, nobody's used it. Don't just think that's strange. It's clearly got a problem. So why isn't it the case of, well, this charge point hasn't reported back to the server in 48 hours, maybe there's something wrong with it. No, we'll leave it for the poor mugs in the EVs driving up to these chargers and then going, oh, doesn't seem to work. Then make them wait on hold 30, 40 minutes before then telling them that it's been down for 8 months. So anyway, like I said, I could have used many more examples than this. And what I want you to do is stick in the comments below if you've had any great or bad customer service. If it's good, put that up. If it's bad, put that up. Does it take you ages if you have to ring a charge network to get through to them? Just have a look at the Twitter feeds of some of these networks. I'm sorry, but we seem to have problems with our phone network at the moment. Please, if you've got any problems, tweet us. So if you're on Twitter and you follow that particular charge network, you will know that. If you don't, which the majority of people won't, they'll just won't be able to get through to anybody. Right, yeah, again, use the comments, let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to this rant. I feel like this is therapy for me, basically. Therapy. I'm going to go get something to eat. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, blah, 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 merchandise, like button, that sort of stuff. Bye.